kind of see what I'm doing and draw the image like that. You can kind of see it up against mine. Yeah, okay. And so that's that. And so that's how all the pieces here in the show are made. Every single one was made from a plate like this that I drew and scratched into and worked. And then I take that, and once I have it where I want it to be, and then I apply the ink. And I'm going to buff it down so the ink is applied on so that.
Sorry, I didn't understand.
So it goes down into the grooves, and I want to polish it off where there's no ink. So I don't know if you can kind of see that yet, but it's starting to come around. And I'm just going to do what's called hand wiping, really gentle. And the tricky part is that you want to get enough ink down in there, but not over wipe it so that you're taking off too much ink and the print is too light. So this is the first time this one's been printed. You saw it was all white and scratchy. And once you print them, they don't look like that anymore. So we'll see how this one does. This is a get that head a little bit better. So these little guys come together really quickly, which is nice. The bigger plates, of course, take a lot of elbow grease. Let me just get the edges here. All right, so I think he's ready to go. We'll see. I'm going to change my paper out here. Okay, actually I need to get the other paper ready, so give me 1 minute while I dampen this.
Are these little samples here of what you do?
Yep.
Okay, so that's what that's going to be.
Yes, it is. This one's going to be the grapefruit heron. Yep. Get that damp. Let me just let that sit for a minute. Yeah, so the printmaking paper is it's pretty heavyweight, and so you dampen it like that so that the fibers open up and it takes in the ink. And also, so I'm going to do this process called chincolet. And so you'll see all the buff toned is not hand coloring, it's actually another piece of paper. And I use a process called chincolet where I take this thin Japanese paper and I've applied a coat of rice paste on the top. This is rice paste, just made from rice flour and water. I cook it up. And I let that kind of dry. And you can use different colors. I found that this buff colored one is my favorite. And so I take that and I'll use this one. And I don't feel like I coated that one. I know I coated this one. I'll use this one. And that goes right on top here, like so. And then I take the paper that's been dampened and blot it out so it's not too wet, but it's pliable and it's damp, right? And that's going to reactivate the rice paste. And so it's going to print and glue all at the same time, and that process is called chincolet, which is such a fun name. All right, and this is when I pray to the printmaking gods, because this is our first print with this plate. There we go. Crank it through. Let's see. Ready? Oh, a little bit light. So it's the first time it printed, so it's just a little bit light. So I'm going to do it again and try to get the pressure a little bit stronger and a little bit more ink on it. So let's do that again. So each print you want to do, you have to do the whole process all over again.
You can't run out back there. You can't run out back there because we can run off the side.
Very.
So when we were in House Grand, he said they must like birds. Y'all have a lot.
Yeah, come on up and look. You don't have to.
Fans of
that's
birds.
so cool.
And I had not noticed that, and he was like, "Have birds." They have a lot of birds. My sister collects everything pottery birds. So every year we go, we see a handmade bird, we get her.
Well, Eric just feels like they're good.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I love it too. I just didn't notice when we were doing green. Like, they like birds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Birds, yes, I've already do. A mini.
Oh, what, I was gonna say.
But he's only one, so he's still young. Yeah.
All right.
Loves the cuddles.
I need to put blue on this one. Let that dry a little bit. It's called etching ink, and it's made specifically for printmaking. Yep. And so there's different types of inks for different printmaking processes. So for relief ink, it's a little bit stiffer because you want it to sit on top. Relief ink is for a woodcut, say, and so you roll the ink on top. You don't want it oozing down the sides, so it's a little bit of a stiffer ink. Etching inks are a little bit looser, which means that they're more. Actually, you really can't tell. They're kind of a little bit, a little bit looser in the fact that they'll sink down into the grooves. And it's oil based. They do make water based ones now that clean up with soap and water, but I tend to like the oil based ones. Yeah. So, okay, try this again. So I tried not to wipe quite as much. And I'm going to add a little bit more pressure on the press. So a lot of what happens in printmaking is a little bit of experimentation as you're going. So I'm going to just tighten it down just a little bit so we get a better impression, which means it'll be a little bit harder to crank through. There we go. All right, hopefully this one's a little bit better. Yes, it is.
Oh, perfect. Nice.
So,
Super nice.
isn't that fun? Yeah.
That's amazing.
So there we go. That is a dry point.
You have to clean the plates in between.
Not in
sections, or-
between prints, like when I'm doing an addition.